Hey, if you're a business owner, I want to share with you one of the easiest and best ways to get more successful, to get more success, to get more sales, to have a better business. The easiest, most for sure way to get more of what you want in every area. And I have nothing to sell you. I am not a millionaire. I just want to share this from the bottom of my heart, because honoring God and believing in God and having faith in God through everything has done more for my business, my life, and my family than anything I have learned from any of these books, videos, courses, anything that I'm doing now. So my name's Tony at BTI. I own my own business. I've been in business by myself for the last 3 years. I've had multiple businesses my whole life. I finally have one that's doing very well. We're on pace to do a couple $1 million. So I'm not a millionaire, so please don't follow me if you're looking to become a millionaire. I have no idea how to do that. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I have had a fair amount of success, though. I mean, our business doing close to a couple $1 million this year, and but more importantly is I have a really good family. I have a really good relationship with my wife. We've been married 14 years. I make more monthly than most people make yearly. So just for context, that I do kind of know the difference between the difference of what I'm talking about, and something that can help you no matter what level you're at. And because I mean, the first 30 years of my life, I think I did everything wrong that you could possibly do. Besides killing somebody, and I've never cheated on my wife, or I've never done any of the major things, I've never done heroin or whatever. But other than that, I've done pretty much anything wrong you can think of. I've lied, I've cheated, I've stealed. Well, I did cheat at Mario Kart, but that's because 5-year-olds are ridiculously good, and I'm not losing to a 5-year-old. All that little stuff, and not honoring God most of my life. And when I'm saying stuff like that, I'm not talking about the big things. I'm actually talking about the little things. That's what's going to get you more success, I believe, than anything else. Now, I can't obviously prove it because I'm not worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but my neighbor down the street, he just won a lawsuit against one of the casino bosses for a couple $1 billion. And across from the street where I live is one of the guys that owns one of the major strip hotels in Las Vegas. And I got a nice half acre. So and when I started my career, I've been making six figures since I was 25, 26 years old, since I first met my wife. So I'm going to tell you the difference between honoring God and not honoring God. All right, and you judge for it by yourself. I'm not an overly religious person, actually. I'm Catholic, but I can't even remember the last time I went to church. It's probably been a couple years. I don't even think I made it for Christmas this year. I used to be at least a good Catholic, where I went Easter, Christmas. So I'm not a preacher, so you don't have to listen to me at all. But what I do want to share is my experience about believing in God, honoring God, and what it has done for me. And I have a lot of real life experiences. Since I've done everything wrong you can imagine, I know the difference between the right and the wrong. So if you're struggling in your business, if your relationship with your wife is struggling, if you want to do better in your business and you're kind of stuck, but you keep thinking you're doing the right things, if you want to continue to grow, if you want to put in practice a lot of these, I don't want to say tips and tricks and strategies, like Brendan Burchard and Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-David and Ed Milet and Ty Lopez and all these guys, if you want to go in the strategies they have, that is phenomenal. And I encourage you watching them for advice on how to be a millionaire and stuff, because I watch probably 8 or 9 hours a day of videos while I'm working, just so I keep stuff fresh in my mind and keep positive and keep on it. But the biggest difference is looking at everything from the lens of, how do I honor God? What can I do to be more honest, more integrity? What can I do to do the right thing? And I think that by far has surpassed anything that I've done as far as listening to these guys and doing courses and whatnot. but because I've started to live by these principles, and it hasn't been easy, and even though I've done everything wrong, I consider myself a better person than most. I mean, and that's the sad thing in society now. The bar is so low. It reminds me of that South Park where the bar is so low, it's in the Mariana Trench or whatever. But so it's not a huge bar to climb over. So I mean, I've always considered myself a good person, but then at the same token, now that I'm looking back, I mean, I've done a lot of horrible stuff. I've driven drunk. When I was a little kid, I hung around these kids. I stole stuff all the time. I've never stolen from anybody, but I did steal from stores when I was little. I didn't really understand the difference. I just thought, oh, it was a corporation and they get their money back, yada yada. I've done pretty much any drug you can think of, except for the major ones or whatever. But I mean, I've lied. I've stolen from my employer because I was a bartender, so I've given drinks away. That's stealing. So there's a lot of little things that I think you need to take into account that'll help you get to that next level. So if you're stuck, if you're a business owner and you're not, and even if you're not, and you are doing the right thing and you are doing good, I encourage you as a business owner, you need to speak more about God, and you need to get that into your staff. You need to be not afraid to say it. I listen to all these guys, Brendan Bouchard and Tony Robbins and they all hold back a little bit. Everyone, they do talk about the Creator and God and all that. And I'm not necessarily saying any one religion's right or to follow any one religion, but you do need to have a supreme power. You do need to have that faith in that, so you respect it and you live by the principles, and you do whatever you can to honor that, whether God's an old man with a beard or it's the all-encompassing energy that controls the universe. Whatever it is, it's a real thing. So maybe when you honor and you do the right thing, it puts the right energy towards that one focus. And my life has changed more than anything by listening to Joel Osteen. And Joel has been great. He's not, you got to do this and that about the Bible. He just relates it to your real life. And since I started listening to him 8-10 years ago, my life has been phenomenally better. And what kind of a sick world do we live in where people talk bad about these guys? Like, how could you possibly talk bad about Joel Osteen? All the dude does is come out once a week, give 30 minutes, and give some life lessons and some things you can think about and some ways to attract God. Tony Robbins, I was in a sales meeting one time. This guy's like, talking crap about Tony Robbins. I was like, how in the hell do you talk crap about a guy who's fed hundreds of millions of people, who spent his entire life helping people? Yeah, he makes a ton of money from it, but it didn't always start like that. And when you honor God and you do the right things, the money will come. But by help, so we're living in kind of a cynical age now. And then everybody's afraid to talk about God, which you need to get out there. You need to shout from the rooftops. You need to teach your people to have some kind of spiritual connection, to honor the little things. That's, what, half, 60% of marriages end in divorce. And I'll guarantee you a lot of it's the little things, like the trust and the money and things like that. You know damn well when you go out to the bar and you tell your wife, oh, I only had 3 or 4 drinks. You know damn well you had 6 or 7. You know, ladies, when you go shopping, you didn't tell your husband the right amount that you actually spent on this stuff. You might not pay a bill that you said you did. You may gamble more than you thought you did, or that you told your spouse. You may have told your kids a little white lie to, just to appease them and get them to be quiet. I know. I've fallen in that trap before. So I think everybody does it. I can't imagine not. When I did drugs, there was a lot of people I did them with. So there was, I know a lot of people do it. And so let me just give you one example. And I want you to try this for the next month or 2 at least. Every little thing you think of, am I honoring God? Am I being honest? Because sometimes the reason you're not getting ahead in sales or your business isn't moving forward or whatever is people can, even if you're a good person but you're lying about something to your wife or you're not doing something right, it comes through in your energy to people, and other people can feel that, whether it's your employees, your staff, your customers, or whatever, that energy comes through. So let me give you my example and why I'm a big proponent of this, and I hope this helps somebody. I mean, like I said, I'm not a preacher. I haven't really been to church. I know what has worked for me and what has tried in this. So if it helps one person, I think that's phenomenal. Leave in the comments if you have any questions or any comments on how God's changed your life, or how living a more integritous way, I don't even know if that's a real word, but by living with more integrity has helped you in the past, or if you have any examples or you can think of anything. So in 2010, I decided to tell my wife I wanted to get off pain pills, and she knew I took them, but she didn't know like I really was like addicted to them, because I was getting them from a doctor, but I knew damn well that doctor was not. He was just, I had to pay him in cash, and you paid him per script he wrote. Like, he never really, like, he'd come over and kind of feel your back a little bit, and literally 5 minutes. And actually, the guy's like in jail now for, writing too many pain pills. So that, just to give you, now I've never taken more than like 4 in a day, just because they're too hard to get. I didn't want to run out, because if you've ever been addicted to pain pills, the reason a lot of people have trouble quitting is the withdrawal is freaking unbelievably horrible. It's the most horrible thing you can ever go through. So in that process, and one thing that happens to a lot of people is you relapse, or you go back and forth and whatever. And so when I would relapse, I wouldn't tell my wife. Now, my wife didn't necessarily care that I took pain pills. I mean, obviously she knew that, and obviously she knew I took them. I was prescribed them. So but she had figured I took too many. So when I would relapse, I wouldn't tell her right away. I would wait, like, usually like a week or 2 or 3 weeks, or sometimes a month before I told her. But obviously, she's a wife. They know everything about you. They know, they know you better than you know yourself. So I wasn't like hiding anything like I thought I was, because your eyes are bloodshot, whatever. So, and during that time period, I was a commission salesman. And during those months, up and down, my sales, up and down, always up and down. And what I found fascinating, now that I think back on it, is I worked at a high-end place, and every tour, every customer, they would send a review to. And the review, I would always get a 10 for trustworthy and being integrity and friendliness. And 9 times out of 10, you're never going to be perfect, no matter how awesome you are. And I was getting a lot of like 6s and 7s in integrity or trustworthiness or whatever. And I wouldn't realize that till I would go. And after a couple months, or after a month or so, and I told my wife, I was like, honey, I started taking them again. She's like, yeah, no shit. And then so I would tell her, and then that would cause a whole problem, because she would have, during that period, asked me if I had done that. And I would say no, because I knew once I told her, then, she'd be fine with it, but then she'd give me that look, and then I'd have to stop taking them. But I didn't really want to stop taking the ones I was taking at that point. So obviously during that time period, I'm lying. Not to my guests, not to my clients, not about the product, but I was lying to her. I was lying to myself for not telling them. So during that time period, my sales would always dip. It would always come across, and no matter what. And this happened probably over a couple years. I did it like probably 2, 3, 4 times maybe. I don't know. And that's the way God blessed me with this woman, because when I met her, I had no car, no driver's license. I had my truck rolled down a hill and took out a fire hydrant. I didn't even know. I thought somebody stole this crappy truck I bought for $500. and I'm really reluctant to do these videos, because obviously, I haven't done a lot. I've had a good life, but obviously I've done a lot of bad things in my past that I'd rather not have come out. But my wife knows everything about me, so even if you know me and you came up with a story, even if she didn't already know about it, she probably wouldn't be surprised. So my 17th birthday party made CNN News. My 22nd birthday was sponsored by a strip club, and we had pajama jam, and just a lot of crazy stuff that seemed cool at the time, but now that I look back on it, I was not honoring God. I was not honoring women. I was not doing the right thing. I was not being respectful of my employer, going hungover or going drunk or whatever half the time, or bartending at a restaurant and giving away some free drinks and stuff like that. All those little things eat away at your integrity, and they eat away at you so much that it comes across in whatever you're doing. Now, like a year or two ago, I finally figured out, I was like, honey, it's like if you live in integrity and every single thing you do, God just keeps rewarding you. And she's like, holy shit, talk about the long freaking sink in. I mean, Jesus Christ. She's like, and she knows, because I'm not a bad guy, and I am in integrity, and it's just that one little thing with the pills and being on, it almost ruined our relationship. And good thing, we had a good enough relationship, and good thing, we never had fidelity issues or any of that stuff, but and she knows I'm a good person down in the soul, and that I would never do anything to harm anybody. It's just that one thing I couldn't get over. So we worked through it. But my point of this to you is, there's got to be some things you're doing in your life where you're not living in integrity. Did your kids forget something when you walked out of the store and you didn't go back and pay for it? Did you try to get something for free that you didn't deserve from another company? Did you lie about, like, I own a business and people try to tell me that they had a death in the family so they could cancel their room within the cancellation policy. But then when we say they can't cancel, all of a sudden, everything's fine now, or their dog had to be put down, but now it didn't. So did you tell somebody at work something that's not true? Did you tell your friends something that's not true? Were you talking bad about people behind their back? I mean, all that stuff is not honoring God. That is not doing what's right. Not sticking up for your friends. Going out drinking, going partying, you go on a business trip to Vegas or whatever, and you're going in a strip club, and you didn't tell your wife, maybe you told her you went to a bar or something. All those little things add up. And I'm telling you, from doing everything wrong, doing things right and honoring God in the little things, no matter what I do, whether it's putting the shopping cart back at Whole Foods and walking it over 3 aisles instead of putting it over the curb and sticking it in the dirt, picking up trash that my kids accidentally drop out of the car, when that goes, being honest with my employees when they do something, just being honest anyway, anything that goes wrong, just take, and number one thing is taking responsibility for all your actions. That's the biggest thing, not blaming people for other stuff. The biggest thing you can do is take responsibility for your actions, whatever they are. If your business isn't working, it's your fault. If your sales are down, it's your fault. If things aren't going your way in your relationship, it's probably your fault. And you probably damn well know it. Instead of blaming everything else and blaming all this stuff, you need to look inside, like, be more integrity. I have to work on this every day still too. I mean, it's just human nature, I think, to take the easy way out, or to not take the blame, and to try to do what's easy or convenient instead of what's right. Do what's right, and I guarantee you, your business will explode. I don't even know why my business is taking off so much. We haven't even really changed anything. We've just been so busy, but I've noticed in the last 2 years, since I have lived in integrity and not done anything out of the order, I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting that I didn't do right, because I have to work on myself every day. I'm mostly doing these videos to remind myself and keep myself accountable to other people, to make sure I'm doing the right thing, because the right thing is never easy. It's always hard to do the right thing. But from what I've lived in the last couple of years, I mean, my business has just keep growing and growing and growing. Opportunities come, things come, just by doing the right thing. Now we have business challenges and things come up, but it's never like before, where the money's bad and the things are bad, and all this and that. And I just read Mr. Marriott's biography, and he was a good Mormon guy. And the Mormons, they don't drink, they don't party, they don't They don't seem to lie. I mean, whatever you think of their religion or whatnot, I mean, every Mormon I met is just an awesome person, for the most part. I'm sure, they have their 10%, like any religion stuff that, and whatever you think about their religion, but they do a good job of keeping their people honest, not drinking. And like Mr. Marriott said, he's like, when you already have decided not to do something, it takes that decision out of your mind. Then you don't even have to weigh it. You don't have to worry about turning down drinks at, on a business trip out in LA or something like that. So, and you can even notice with Mr. Marriott's life for 60 years. I mean, he had, regular business challenges, but he never had like where he lost everything and had to build it back up and da-da-da. I mean, he had, there's a couple little instances where business dipped and he had to buy out a business partner or whatever. But, for the most part, he had his little, regular business patches, but he didn't have to go anything too traumatic. And I really noticed that about his life. That was one thing that really stood out to me, especially since what's happened to me the last few years. So I don't know. I hope this maybe helps somebody. And I don't really know why I'm doing it. I'm not making any money off this. I already have 3 businesses, and but I just felt God tell me that if I could help somebody, one person save their marriage, save their life, help their business some way, because doing the right thing, I think, is the easiest way to become successful. One of the godfather of my babies, one of the greatest men I know. I love him. And people hate on him all the time, but he's one of the greatest men I've ever met. He's made his fair share of mistakes, but for the most part, he honors God. He does the right thing. He owns up to him, and he's one of my inspirations. And because nobody's perfect. I don't care who you are. Nobody is. We all got skeletons in the closet and things like that. And so I just hope this video finds you well. God bless you and your family. Please leave a comment below if you have anything to say or any topics you want me to cover. And I'm going to try to do these once a week. All right. Hope all is well with you and your families, and God bless you and your businesses.